Hello and welcome back to another edition of Chill with Kaiju Kim. I'm Kaiju Kim. Hope you're all doing well on this lovely afternoon, evening, whatever time it is for you. Before we get rolling tonight, I just want to remind everyone who does not know that I do have merch available. That's right. You can go down to the link down below in the description to go to my TeePublic store. You can get some t-shirts, sweatshirts, mugs, stickers, pins, etc. If you have a few extra bucks and want to help out a struggling creator, please check out my TeePublic store and see if you find anything that suits your fancy. So, on to tonight's topic, the Heisei Era. A lot of people seem to dislike this era of the Godzilla franchise for one reason or another, so we're going to talk about it tonight. What works, what doesn't work, what could have been done better, so on and so forth. And of course, I will not be talking to myself because that will be awkward. I will be talking with a fantastic toy photographer whose work can be found on Instagram. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Godzilla Train.
So, Kaiju family, what's going on?
What's up? How are you? How's it going?
Doing great, Kim. How are you doing today? Thank you for having me on today.
Thank you for coming on the show. Pleasure to have you. So, what you got going on? Well, tell the audience what you do about your work.
And like you said, I'm a amateur toy photographer. Definitely still trying to work my way up in the ranks. Of course, I'm also a YouTuber myself on Godzilla Train 1090 as well as Monster of Attitude. So both definitely check out both of those YouTube channels. And of course, yesterday we did have our X Plus Spaghetti Year discussion, which I did announce on there that I am voting for Megalon. So get ready for that campaigning.
Awesome. All right, let's see who we have in the chat tonight. We got Valerie, how's it going? And we got Doomzilla, what's up? And we got Warrior King Forever. Yeah, I enjoy the Heisei era myself, so do I. We'll get to that. All right, so before we get into our main topic for tonight, I like to kick off the conversation with 3 questions. How did you get into Godzilla? What's your favorite Godzilla film? And what is your favorite non-Godzilla kaiju film?
So really, I honestly don't remember what got me into Godzilla. I mean, of course, it's like the rest of us as kids. We grew up loving dinosaurs, and I think I was introduced to Godzilla first. Actually, probably woke up one day, saw the Hanna-Barbera cartoon on the Cartoon Network, and at that point, I was absolutely hooked. Of course, Godzilla vs. Mega was my first Godzilla movie, but my favorite Godzilla movie would definitely have to be Return of Godzilla. And my non-favorite kaiju movie would probably have to be 2005 King Kong.
Awesome. That's a pretty good list there.
Thank you.
All right, so let's talk about the Heisei era. Now, the general consensus in the fandom, at least from what I've seen, seems to be that the Heisei era is the weakest era of the Godzilla franchise. Do you agree or disagree with this, and why?
I'm sorry, can we kind of cut out? Can you repeat that for me?
Do you agree or disagree that the Heisei era is the weakest of the Godzilla franchise?
I 100% disagree. And honestly, I'm on the short list that thinks or era or anything like that. But to me, when I go back and watch the Heisei era, I always go back to watch it for a serious Godzilla movie. Now, I do love the goofiness in the Showa era and respect the serious movies in the Showa era. But if I'm going to put a film in, it's going to definitely be something from the Heisei era.
Awesome. Yeah, so I personally like the Heisei era as a whole more than the other eras. I mean, I feel like there's more continuity with the story and the characters. Like, you see some of the same characters in the Showa era. I mean, the same actors, but they every time you see them, they play like a different role. Whereas in the Heisei films, you kind of get to know like Miki Segusa and General Aso and even Godzilla Jr. That being said, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that everything about it is perfect. There are some things that I think could be done better, and I can see where some people are coming from with some of their criticisms, but overall, I don't think it deserves as much hate as it gets. Like, I don't even know where this hate come from. Like, right, Tokupunk? Like, why do people hate Heisei now? I don't understand it.
Right? I don't get
I
it
don't,
either.
it's like, I think someone popular decided, like, oh, I don't like the Heisei era, and then people just jumped on the bandwagon. I honestly think that's why. Uh,
That's very possible, honestly.
yeah, that seems like that seems like what's going on there. All right, so what we're going to do, we're just going to go by film and just talk about what works, what doesn't work, and what we could do different. Okay, so let's start with The Return of Godzilla, aka Godzilla 1985. So, what do you think works in that film?
The thing that most works in that film is probably how they try to stick towards the original movie, the original Gojira, but had its own different twist on it. Especially with the Cold War tension that was in the movie as well, that added that little bit of extra drama that we didn't necessarily need, but it enhanced the movie. It didn't hurt it at all. So that's definitely one. That's why I think definitely works for Returning Godzilla.
Awesome. What do you think about like the music? Because I know you had invited me onto like a stream talking about the music of the Heisei era, and unfortunately, I missed it because I was sick. So I'm interested in to hear your thoughts on you know what you think of the music in the era, starting with this film.
Well, oddly enough, I do love the Returning Godzilla soundtrack, but it is probably the weakest soundtrack out of all the movies. Oddly enough, as much as I do love it, I go back and listen to that soundtrack all the time. But when it comes to the Heisei era, it's definitely the weakest to me.
Yeah, I actually kind of like it because it kind of creates like a foreboding atmosphere. I mean, it's like unique. It's different from everything we've heard before, like previously. So I don't know. I kind of like the music in this film, but I also think the Godzilla's roar and his design, it kind of reconnects him to his roots. Like you were saying, connects to the original Gojira, and
Mhm.
I also think the characters are interesting, at least in the Japanese version, especially the Prime Minister.
Yeah, he does a fantastic job, especially in the Japanese version of it.
Yeah, I definitely like the Japanese version better, and that kind of leads me into what doesn't work. Is the Americanized version just as a whole does not work. It butchers the character development and adds unnecessary scenes in place of important scenes, and it's just like I remember one time I was watching that version and I fast forwarded through all the American scenes. And I calculated about 15 minutes of unnecessary crap.
Ooh,
15 minutes.
that's funny. And then I of course most of us started on Godzilla 1985, but like you said, as we got older and I finally saw the sub version of it, it's like, okay, we didn't need that. We didn't need that. We didn't need that. We did need Raymond Burr though. I won't. That is one thing the American version did do well was Raymond Burr. But I think I've
I
had enough
mean,
Pepsi
it
in my
was
life for
cool.
one
It was cool to
lifetime.
see. Yeah, it was cool to see his character again, but I feel like he just said a bunch of mumbo jumbo that didn't really mean anything. Like it comes off as deep when you first see it, but like when you really think about it, I'm just like, no, it doesn't make sense. We got James Shelton in the chat. How's it going? Thanks for stopping by. And he says, I've honestly never been a big fan of the Heisei era films, but I think a large part of it was accessible. Growing up, I had access to most Showa and Millennium films, but only a few Heisei films. That is true. I think I didn't see most of the Heisei films till like late childhood. Like I saw most of the Showa films like when I was like a toddler and like 5 or 6, but then I didn't see like all the other ones until like I was like 11 or 12. I do remember seeing Godzilla 1985 and Godzilla versus Biollante, but that's it.
Yeah, it's kind of the same that happened to me too. So I read them from the library, oddly enough. I saw Godzilla 1985 and Biollante, and I thought they was done Godzilla after that. But then TNT had their, what's it called? Their big. Halloween marathon Godzilla movies, and that's how I ended up seeing all the Heisei movies during that marathon.
Awesome. And we got Doomzilla saying, "Hold up, the American edition does have something to make fun of, but there's some elements that actually is better than the Japanese edition." I guess that's a fair point. I can't think of anything off the top of my head right this second.
You thinking? It's been a while since I watched the American version.
Yeah, like I think the last time I watched that movie, I watched it in Japanese. So, and I'm sure there's something about it that I can say that's good, the American version. But yeah. And Valerie says Return of Godzilla is basically 80s Shin Godzilla. Yeah, basically.
Yeah,
That
much.
is basically it. So what else can we say about this film? What works? What doesn't work? Did we cover everything pretty much? Maybe the chat wants to chime in.
There is one thing that we can bring up. I know I remember earlier, but out of everything he said, his final speech when Godzilla falls into a volcano, pristine.
Yep, that's one of the elements that is better than the Japanese version. There we go.
Most definitely. I love every time I hear that speech, I get goosebumps. It's been a while, but I remember most of it.
Yeah, you know what? Now that I think about it, that end monologue just makes his presence in the film completely worth it.
Exactly.
Yes, I will. I stand corrected. Yes, very good. Let's see, what else could we say about it? Yep, even Doomzilla says Burst's speech really emphasizes Godzilla as a whole. It really does.
It did.
Yes. And Bitori and Goji says, without Raymond Burr, the American version would have been a bad comedy. Yeah, that's very, very true. Very true indeed. Good Lord. And Valerie said she liked the ending song too in 84.
That was a pretty song. I'm okay with it. I like that song.
Yeah, that was a good one. All right, so shall we move on to Godzilla versus Biollante?
Let's do it.
All right, cool. So what do you think works in that film? What do you like about it?
Godzilla versus Biollante, I'm just going to toss it out there. It's almost perfection. You get everything with that film. The right amount of human drama, the right amount of Godzilla action with the military and with the monster. I can't say good stuff about.
Yeah, I think Biollante is like my favorite kaiju in the franchise. So, yay. I like the music in that film. It's also unique, and the concept is kind of unique as well. So it's one of my. I think it's my second favorite Heisei Godzilla film. And Warrior King Forever says everything works in Godzilla versus Biollante. It's amazing. It is amazing. And he says you're lagging, Godzilla train. Oh, good. I was wondering if that was just me. Apologies for the technical difficulties, ladies and gentlemen. Are you still with me? Ooh, we seem to be having technical difficulties. Oh dear. Well then, how's it going, ladies and gentlemen? So let's continue talking about Godzilla versus Biollante, shall we? So, like I said, it's my second favorite Godzilla Heisei film. And let's talk about what doesn't work, really. I personally didn't like the Super X2 theme. Sounds too much like the Superman theme. And I also think that it's kind of weird that the battle just kind of stops, like the final battle between Godzilla and Biollante. Like, it is mentioned earlier that Biollante is immortal, so I guess having her just kind of go like bye is the only way the battle could truly end. But it was still kind of weird. Let's see what Tokapunk says. Fun fact: BioWars is now used for Mr. Incredible Uncanny memes now. Oh, interesting. How's it going? Oh, hey there, friend.
Sorry, it's like super windy over here. I guess it's messing with the Wi-Fi. I guess.
That's unfortunate. But yeah, so before we have any more technical difficulties, why don't you continue sharing your thoughts on Biollante? Because I didn't quite hear what you were saying.
Okay. So what I was saying is to me, Godzilla vs. Biollante is absolutely incredible. Has the right amount of monster action, has the right amount of Godzilla and military action, and every single last one of the characters I absolutely love. Besides the Sheradian agent, forget that guy. But
Yeah.
besides that, I love everything about Godzilla vs. Biollante, which I think the only reason why it's not number one on my list is because I do love standalone Godzilla movies, but it's definitely up there as one of my favorites as well.
Yeah, that's a good film. Let's see what Warrior King Forever says. For the record, I do love the return of Goji costume and sometimes wonder how the Heisei era would have been like if they had stuck with that design. But I do love the Bio Goji costume. Double rows of teeth for the win. And Kasaibo F29 says, does Biollante really resemble Audrey 2? Kinda? You know who Audrey 2 is, right?
I do. I know who Audrey is, but not Audrey too.
Yeah, from Little Shop of Horrors. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, kind of. No, I think Audrey 2 is Biollante's weird cousin.
As I'm trying to say.
Oh, good lord. All right. Let's see what the chat's saying. Valerie, to be honest, I think Biollante should be the next monster Godzilla should fight in the Monsterverse. I would love to see Biollante in the Monsterverse. She is an underused kaiju, in my opinion.
I have to agree. We actually discussed that in our Godzilla vs. Kong review a few months, actually last year, that Biollante probably should be either Biollante or Hedorah should be the next one to be in the MonsterVerse. Since they're going with more of that Earth theme, I think that would work pretty well there.
Yeah, I agree. From Patrick Massel. I'm so sorry if I said your name wrong. Massel. Biollante stands as the best looking film of the 80s and 90s. Unfortunately, none of the other films live up to the special effects and cinematography of Biollante. Good point.
That's fair.
That is fair. That's a fair point. And Warrior King says, I like all the spy thriller and mad science stuff that goes on between the monster scenes, humanity making things worse for itself as Godzilla escapes from his prison from the last film and Biollante emerges. Yes, very good. Let's see what else we got here. Who else is saying? And he goes on to say, Biollante could work in the Monsterverse as either a flora fauna monster like those seen in Skull Island, or as a man-made monster like she was in the 80s. Yeah, I would be interested to see how they would redesign Biollante.
That'd be interesting. I mean, they wouldn't have to go too far from the original concept, maybe. But I don't know. It'll be interesting to see.
Yes. And Bitori and Goji says, Mickey had a promising introduction. Yes, Mickey Segusa, recurring character in the Heisei era. Yes, I do like her introduction in this, and I think her character does get developed. Well, I'll get to that. But yeah, we had a good introduction to Mickey here. We get to know and love her. All right. So moving right along to Godzilla versus King Ghidorah. What are your thoughts on that film?
Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah is a love-hate relationship, only because to me, so much more could have been done in that movie, but the movie's still incredible in its own way as well. So I can't poo-poo on it, of course, but I do know its flaws, and I know they could have done some things better with the movie.
Such as?
Well, as cute and adorable as the Dorats are, I'm used to the Dorats being, well, not the Dorats, Jesus. I'm used to King Ghidorah being a space menace. And again, I do, and even I know Ghidorah is my favorite King Ghidorah, but I guess the whole Dorat backstory, they could have left that part out of the movie and found a different way to introduce King Ghidorah into the movie, I think. They could have done that a little bit differently.
Okay. That's fair. Yeah, I do feel like The story concept was interesting in theory, but the execution was kind of clunky, as Bittori and Goji says. Interesting concept, clunky execution. Yeah, that sums up that movie pretty well. And like some of the things didn't quite make sense. Like, why did Emmy go along with the Futurians' plan if she didn't like it? Like, she had to know what they had planned, right? And then she
Clearly,
goes
of course she
along with
did.
it, and then she's like, "Hey, this isn't right." And then, but you knew what that's what they were going to do, and why did you go along with it? What? But
Like the whole time too. Like yeah, like it's funny being like I never really thought about that before. Like the whole time she was against the plan, but she went along with it. She dropped off the door rats, and it was like, okay, but why though? If you was against it anyways, what did they what lies did they feed her to make her think that it was going to be okay?
yeah, like they must have lied to her somewhere along the way because it kind of seems like she already knew what was happening, but then she's like, hey, no, I don't like this. But then like why did you do it? What are you doing? uh, but yeah, some things that do work. One character that is good is Shindo, the character of Shindo.
Yes,
I think everyone loves that character. And like,
he he had
yeah.
his own tragic story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love it. How everyone loves that scene where he's like in the building and he's Godzilla comes up to him. They share kind of a moment, before
Mhm.
Godzilla, disintegrates him into oblivion. uh,
So I've
and
always had a thought about this, Kim. I want to know your thoughts about it. I forgot if you've mentioned it before, but is it just me or is Godzilla crying in that scene? Because I always thought Godzilla shed one tear. That's it.
I didn't see a tear from him. I saw Shindo shedding some tears, but I didn't see Godzilla crying. No.
And I always thought when Godzilla like closed his eyes for a second, like a tear ran down, and then he like opened his eyes and like snapped right back out of it.
Yeah, I always think I always took that as him being let me think about this. Oh, I remember this guy. All right, I'm gonna kill you now. But yeah, I don't think he was crying in that film in that scene.
Oh
And we
man,
got a
I'm just
comment
crazy. Maybe I'm crazy. I mean, I'm too sentimental, maybe.
it's all good. Take that, you dinosaur. Peak cinema.
Oh my god,
Oh, gotta love it. You have got to love it.
that scene is priceless. I love that scene.
I can't.
There, take that, you dinosaur.
Has anyone edited that line into a Jurassic Park film yet? Because that needs to happen.
That really does need to happen. It's in the Lost World Jurassic Park. That'd be perfect, right? When they tranquilize the T Rex. Like,
Oh yeah.
take that, you dinosaur.
Take that, you dinosaur. Oh, dubbing. Oh, the dubbing. Ooh, we got Godzilla Nerds 1954 in the chat. What's up? The Heisei era is pretty awesome to me. They have a few classics in there. Indeed, they do, my friend. Indeed, they do. And Kasaibo says, and wouldn't teleporting a bleeding dinosaur to the bottom of the Bering Sea drown it before it can mutate? That's something I didn't think about before. That's true.
Ideally, yeah, you think so.
Yeah. I
You
love
need
how
to
we always
instantly
try
get
to.
them to lose all oxygen.
I love how we're sitting here trying to add logic to a Godzilla movie, but that's how we do. That's how we roll.
Exactly.
But yeah, that is a good point though. Like, wouldn't he die before he got a chance to mutate? Unless they did the nuclear thing like right away. I don't know. The movie's weird.
That movie is weird, but it's fun weird, I guess, in a
It is a
sense.
fun weird. I like fun weird. Fun weird is good weird.
Exactly.
It's the best kind of weird.
It is. That's why I think Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah is probably the Godzilla movie I've watched the most in Heisei, oddly enough. As much as I do have my issues with it, if I'm I want something serious, but I need some fun. Oh, Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah it is.
Yeah, it's like a mixture of serious and goofiness. It's perfect, beautiful.
Yes.
That's what Godzilla's all about. All right, so moving on to Godzilla versus Mothra 1992. Your thoughts on that film? Go.
Godzilla versus Mothra 1992 is a Mothra movie, first of all. I'm just going to toss that out there.
Yeah, quite obviously, Godzilla was thrown in there at the last minute. Continue.
Like I honestly feel like it would have been a way better movie if it was just a Mothra movie, honestly. Godzilla having to be shoehorned into it was frustrating, is the word I'm going to use today.
Yeah, he definitely felt largely out of place for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's it didn't work. Didn't work as a Godzilla film. It was basically a rehash of Mothra versus Godzilla, which was a rehash of the original Mothra film. So like I feel like they could have reintroduced Mothra in a more original way and
Hmm.
then not shoehorn Godzilla into it, you know?
That's really should have done, but I don't know. I don't know if I know. I don't know if I heard the story about it, but to me, for like they was just making a Mothra movie. They was like, Mothra's not that popular. Let's shove Godzilla in there.
That's
That'll
basically
get us some
how
money.
things go. That's basically what happened, I think.
Which I mean makes the most money out of all the Heisei films. So I guess it worked, but
It did work, and I think it did eventually lead to the rebirth of Mothra trilogy. So, yeah, maybe. I don't know. Kasaibo says you can remove the human characters from Godzilla vs. Mothra 2, and nothing of value would be lost. That is very true. I think OmniViewer made a video on that recently, a month or two ago. He actually made some solid points. What do you think? You agree with that?
yeah, we can definitely move the human characters. Besides Mickey, but I'm biased. I love Mickey Sagusa. We can
Mickey had a
definitely leave out
very she
all
was
the other human characters in
yeah, I
Godzilla
love
vs.
Mickey too, but
Mothra.
she was barely in this one. Yeah, she didn't really do a whole lot in this film, but yeah, but the characters, I actually kind of liked the comedic tone and the character dynamics in the first half hour or so, but generally speaking, yeah, they didn't really need to be there. But yeah,
Yeah,
and
that and their I guess rehash of Indiana Jones also was shoehorned in there.
yeah, they had to do that. I think it was like popular at the time. That I'm not a huge Indiana Jones fan, but I don't know. Did an Indiana Jones film recently come out like around that time? Do you know? I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. I think. Did you freeze again?
No, I'm back for
Okay,
two
good. You're good.
seconds.
Okay. All right. So that movie also has my second favorite version of the Mothra song. So that's a plus towards it.
Yeah,
Ooh, we got some lag. We are lagging.
just a little bit.
All right. Shall we move on to Godzilla versus Mega Godzilla 2?
Yeah, we can definitely. Well, but before we do that though, there is one thing I did love in that film,
Okay.
and it was when Godzilla came back the second time when he came out of the volcano.
Oh,
That
yeah.
scene was beautifully shot.
Yes, I will give that film that. That was a very cool shot.
Like, it made his return in Biollante look like okay. The way he came at Godzilla versus Mothra, oh my god.
I don't know if I would go that far. I mean, it's definitely a cool Godzilla entrance, but I think Godzilla's entrance in Godzilla versus Biollante tops that, in my opinion. That's what I think.
I don't know. You know what? I need to watch them back to back one day and find out. Actually, find out. But because that was a good entrance too. But I
Yeah,
guess maybe because that one was. I think I maybe like the one Mothra a little bit more because we was expecting it but not expecting it. And Biollante, we had a countdown.
yeah. Here he comes. There he is.
Well, and actually, I went to go to the theater to see Godzilla vs. Biollante when it last November. Oh my god! when Godzilla came out of the volcano, the whole crowd just erupted. He was like, ah!
Really?
I
Oh,
just smiled. I was
m- see, I went to see it too
like,
last in November, and like my crowd was like so dead. Like, oh, I was like, I wish I had an enthusiastic crowd too, and I'm like, because I had to hold myself back, like, but yeah,
was your
all right.
crowd not enthusiastic? Were they just there to watch the movie?
Basically, I mean, there was some laughter here and there at parts that warranted laughter, but other than
Mhm.
that, they were pretty quiet.
Oh, that's lame. No, everybody
Mm.
was hype in my theater. I loved it. I was like, yes, I'm with my people.
See, I never get lucky like that. I only get that level of enthusiasm when I'm at G Fest.
And see, you say that, but I've never been to G Fest, so I saw you experience that enthusiasm.
Yeah. Eh, all right. Another comment from Warrior King. Also, the environmental message falls flat since all three monsters were awoken by a meteor falling from space rather than humanity's actual acts of pollution. That is true. And I did feel like the environmental message in that film was kind of like not needed and kind of
Out of
contrived.
place.
Yeah, there we go. Let's
I
see.
mean, it's a meteor.
I mean, yeah, it's not us this time. It's the meteor's fault. Oh boy. All right. Anything else about Godzilla versus Mothra before we move on?
Nope, we can go on to Godzilla versus Mega Godzilla 2.
Yes, and that is my personal favorite film of the Heisei era, which of course seems to be the film that everyone hates the most. I don't get it. Why does everyone hate that movie? What do you think of that movie? What do you think of that movie?
Godzilla versus Mega Godzilla 2 should be higher on my list, but it is fourth as far as my Heisei. I think it's but to me it's not bad. Godzilla's design was a little but I still like it. There's a big old vacuum cleaner to me, but I still like that design, honestly. Rodan was done kind of dirty, but it's Rodan. It's okay. And absolutely the best soundtrack in the Heisei era by far.
I agree. I agree. And of course, I agree. I agree with what you just said there. And I also, one of the reasons I love this film is it's got my baby boy. It's got baby Godzilla. He's so cute.
Baby Godzilla is adorable.
I love him so much. That's why he's the mascot for Chill with Kaiju Kim.
Yes, I love Baby Godzilla way more than Minya. I love Baby
I
Godzilla.
think
He's
everyone likes
adorable.
anyone like everyone likes baby Godzilla more than Minya. But yeah, let's see. So I absolutely love Godzilla versus Mega Godzilla 2. It continues the story of okay, Godzilla's acted a fool again. How do we stop him? And like the character of Mega Godzilla obviously isn't new, but like within this continuity, it's new. So
Yeah,
it's like oh, here's an idea. Let's build a robot version of him. Like it's new within this continuity, which is pretty cool. And I also appreciate that, Mickey gets a little more character development in this film. Like she starts off with this mission to defeat Godzilla, and now because of Baby, she's having second thoughts.
hmm
And like you said, the music in this film is just beautiful, fantastic, especially Mechagodzilla's theme. And Fire Rodan is pretty cool. Although I was trying to think of things that didn't quite work about this film, and I I struggled for a little bit, but I came up with Mechagodzilla's design is underwhelming. He looks very derpy,
yeah, that's fair.
and yeah, and I feel like it would have worked better if Mickey was the one to take care of Baby instead of Azusa, because I feel like that would have added to her character development even more. Like,
That would have worked better. You have a good point there. That would have worked a lot better.
yeah, especially later on in the films when she's like still in the films, because we never see Azusa again, but we keep seeing Mickey. So I definitely feel like that would have worked a lot better.
It would have at least gave Mickey more to do with Baby at the very least. To be around Baby a little bit more.
Yeah, there was actually a deleted scene where Mickey tries to interact with Baby, but he kind of growls at her, but then she's like, "Hey, I'm your friend. I don't want to hurt you." And then he plays with her hair. It's a really cute scene, and they deleted it for some reason.
Why?
Why did they do it?
Oh, Toho, Lord of Mercy.
Gotta love Toho. All right. Like my friend Matt from Monstrosities once said, Toho's gonna Toho.
That's very true. Toho's gonna Toho.
Let's see. GFan86. Life versus artificial life was one of the messages of versus Mega Godzilla 2. Yes.
Yep.
Indeed. From Royer King. I don't hate Godzilla vs. Mega Godzilla 2. It's just not my favorite. I liked it better as a kid and wish Rodan was given a better design. I think Rodan was given kind of the shaft until the Monsterverse.
Yeah, that's 100% true.
That is very true. And yeah, you're right. They did do Rodan kind of dirty in this one.
Yeah, he just Godzilla beat the snot out of him. Mega Godzilla beat the snot out of him. Like, can he get a dub somewhere? Oh my god.
Yeah, and then like he starts to revive for a second, and then Mega Godzilla is like, nope.
Yeah, Rodan's a very underrated kaiju. He gets not enough love from the movies. Toho, being Toho.
Yep, Toho being Toho.
Ain't nothing be stuck in my head forever now.
You're welcome. The manga version had Godzilla die and Baby grows up. Ooh, interesting. I need to get my hands on some Godzilla manga.
I didn't get my hands on more Godzilla manga. I have 1980, the Return of Godzilla sitting in my room, but that's the one I have. I need to get some more.
Okay. Let's see. Anything else we can say about this film before we move on? I think I said everything I wanted to say. You good? All right, cool. All right, so let's move on to Godzilla versus Space Godzilla. I think Space Godzilla is a cool concept. What do you think?
Godzilla versus Space Godzilla. So for a while, I did have it as the worst film in the Heisei era, but Mothra's taking that title now. And Godzilla vs. Space Godzilla does not get nearly enough love. Is the best? No. God, no. But it does have some, the movie does have substance. I don't know about everybody else, I love Space Godzilla's design. He was a lumbering giant who couldn't really do too much, but I like the concept of Space Godzilla. It was awesome. And I'll say that, I guess I'll save my dislike for later, but Godzilla's design didn't change so much. We still got the regular Godzilla design. And again, besides Mickey, I could have done without the human characters, to be honest. They didn't really bring too much to this movie because they had for that. So
yeah, I agree. I like the idea for this film for how to deal with Godzilla, which is Project T, because like again, it continues the how do I deal with Godzilla type thing. Project T is pretty cool. They like try to control his mind or whatever. And I also like the music in this one. Do you like the music in this film?
love the music in this movie. They're also a very underrated soundtrack. I don't listen to it too often, but when I do watch the movie and hear it again, it's like, oh, this is a really good soundtrack. Very different, but it's a good soundtrack.
Indeed. All right, so what do you think doesn't work with this film besides, some of the human characters? still with me?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're just lagging. Okay. Hello.
Okay, I'm still here. Thank God.
Technical difficulties. Hooray.
I know this one is driving me insane.
Oh boy.
All
right. So why don't we take some comments from the chat here.
Okay.
All right. Space Godzilla is awesome. Don't know why fans think he's too silly when there's several generations of giant mechanical clones of Godzilla already. And hi, Isabella. What's going on? Thanks for stopping by. And I like how evil Space Godzilla is. He arrives on Earth, picks a fight just to prove he's hot stuff, imprisons little G just to be a jerk, and goes on through the world without a care. Yeah, he is mean. I don't like him. He's mean. He looks cool, but he's mean.
Yeah, Space Godzilla was a douche.
He is a douche. He's a space douche.
He is a space douche.
Godzilla versus the space douche. That's what they should have named this film.
Right.
Oh, good lord. So
No, it was a space.
Yeah.
Was supposed to be,
like,
right?
Yeah. I'm sorry, you're lagging hardcore right now. So if it looks like I'm just staring off into space, like, hello? I'm just waiting for the lag to not be laggy.
Okay, no problem. But yeah, I know the original concept for Godzilla, Space Godzilla, was supposed to be Mega Godzilla returning instead of bringing back Mothra. That was probably one of the biggest mistakes Toho could have done. Yeah, they wanted to bring something in new, but can you imagine Space Godzilla fighting Godzilla and Mega Godzilla? Oh my god.
That would have been cool. That would have been kind of cool. Maybe they didn't have the budget. I was like, Mothra was kind of like a discount Mega Godzilla. So
maybe that's possible.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Something I didn't like about Space Godzilla is Little Godzilla. I mean, don't get me wrong, Little Godzilla is freaking adorable. I love him. But like, yeah, they had a good thing going with Baby Godzilla's design. Why did they make him look like the Pillsbury Doughboy? I mean, he's cute, like I said, but like, why did you? Well, you could have just stuck with it and still made him.
No, why?
Yeah, I don't understand it. And another thing that I really don't think worked was Mickey was a bit over the top, was thinking that all men just want to kill Godzilla. And like, I feel like they should have continued to have her like kind of on the fence about her ultimate mission, but instead they just kind of had her like harsh of like, no, you just want to kill him. That's all you want to do. That's all you think about.
No, they did make Mickey. I still love her, but
yeah. And there's also a deleted scene where Godzilla tries to free little Godzilla from his crystal prison, and I feel like they should have left that part in too. It would have been.
They probably should have. God, they take out way too much stuff. There's so many deleted scenes out there that, you know what, I'll save it for the last movie. Not gonna bring it up yet.
Okay. All right, let's see what else we got here. We got a random question from Migbar. Have you guys ever seen the death battles with Godzilla versus Gamera and Q versus the Dragon Zord? I've definitely seen QU versus the Dragon Zord. I don't remember if I've seen Godzilla versus Gamera. I probably have, but I don't remember. Did you see that?
I've seen both of those actually, and I'm not gonna lie, I did want Godzilla to win, but they didn't have to do Gamera like that. That was dirty. I know it's death better, but my God, you gotta do Gamera like that. Jesus.
Yeah.
And I need to be watched Q and the Dragon Zord. Honestly, I forgot who won that battle. I need to be watched that one, but that one was a pretty good death battle as well.
Yeah, that was really cool. All right. Anything else about Godzilla versus Space Godzilla before we move on to the final Heisei film?
Uh, no, I can go ahead and start crying now. You can get to it.
Okay. Ready to start crying now? All right, let's do
Yeah.
it. Let's do it. Mm. Godzilla versus Destroyer. Mm. This film. I have a love-hate relationship with this film. Like, it brings
Same.
the franchise full circle. It wraps up the Heisei era in a neat little bow, has a powerful ending. Godzilla looks different, but man, really, yeah, you know. Uh,
Godzilla versus Destroyer. Like you said, is a very strong love and hate relationship. If I'm lucky, I'll watch that film once a year. If I'm lucky, I can't watch
yeah.
that film more than that. At least I meet my quota for a year, but that movie's too much for me.
It, uh, it's such a powerful film. It's such a good movie, but a part of me does not like watching it because it makes me sad.
It breaks my heart every single time I watch it. And
Yeah.
last year, I showed it to my son for the first time, and even he was like, "That was sad." But I know there's more Godzilla movie, so he's like, "Get it."
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That film is something else. But yeah, I actually, uh, like I said, have a love-hate relationship with this film. I'm call me a wuss, but Godzilla's design in that film does kind of freak me out. I made a video explaining why, but that's a private. I'll when I start up my Patreon again, I'll share it with my patrons. But uh, uh, basically, there was a my parents had like a Godzilla toy that was motion activated, and his eyes glue up red. And so Godzilla in this film, who has glowing red eyes, kind of reminded me of
Mhm.
that toy. So I kind of
Ooh.
made that. It was like, get behind me, Satan. That film gave me nightmares. But yes, I still think it's a good film. But there were some things about it that did not quite work. And one thing that annoys me the most is the fact that the military is the one that defeats Destroyer and they steal Godzilla's
Yes.
final victory. What is
Yes.
that?
Oh my God. And I only know that's what I was talking about earlier about the deleted scene. So in the original ending was supposed to be Godzilla blasting Destroyer on the way to the ground. But there's like, nah, let's give the military victory. Why? What are y'all doing?
What do you mean? Oh my god, I can't believe they did that. It's like they could have they could have had Godzilla deliver the final blow and then, transfer,
Exactly.
transition to the meltdown. But nope, they're like, all right, this movie's getting too long. Let's shoot him. Let's like,
Ah, God, that pissed me off
no.
so much. Oh my God. We talked about that in the Heisei show too. That pissed me off watching that as a kid, as a grown adult.
It's it's not that's not
Get over
okay.
life.
That's not okay. I can't believe they done did that. Uh, so another thing that I don't think quite works is Mickey's grief over Junior. Because going back to what I said earlier of how I think it would have worked better if Mickey was the one to care for Baby. Like, and now that he's all
Mhm.
grown up, and now that Destroyer killed him, that jerk. And then Mickey, she like breaks down and cries over him, but it doesn't really feel earned. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got you. Yeah,
Yeah.
because like you
So
say, he wasn't with Junior like that, but she like broke this baby. And it's like, but he wasn't with him as a baby.
yeah, like I mean, you were kind of there, but you didn't take care of them like Azusa did. So like, what's your deal, woman?
Hmm.
I mean, I guess because she still has the psychic connection with the Godzilla species or whatever, but it still would have made more sense if she had been baby's primary caretaker from the beginning, then it would have had more impact when he died.
I do have a theory about that though, and maybe why make you feel Godzilla? Did I blink out?
Yes, you did. I'm
So
sorry.
my
Can you repeat that entire thing again?
yeah, my crazy theory is that maybe Mickey felt Godzilla's pain when Junior died, and maybe that's why she was so heartbroken herself. That's my theory. That's the way I have to look at it for me to give Mickey that credit. Like, okay, she felt bad because Godzilla was.
That makes sense. That actually does make sense because she feels what Godzilla's feeling, kind of in a way, and so and we actually see Godzilla cry. That's where we see Godzilla shed a tear. Like, you actually see him shed a tear in that one. I was like, "Are you kidding me?" This movie is so depressing in the second half.
It really is.
Oh my goodness.
Like the joy I had with Mickey finding Junior did not make up for Junior and Godzilla dying. Almost, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Doomzilla says, not true. The reason they changed it is because they say it would have taken away from Godzilla's inevitable death. I mean,
Lies.
I feel like they still could have done both. They still could have had Godzilla deliver the final blow and then transition to the meltdown. I feel like they could have done it, but that's just me. That's just my opinion.
No, that's mine too.
Yeah. From Warrior King, I prefer to think Godzilla softened Destroyer up for the army, or that Destroyer was cooked alive by Godzilla's heat/radiation levels after the army shot his wings apart. But yeah, Godzilla should have administered the final blow. Indeed. Saying Doomzilla says Mickey was given the authority to look after the little one since Godzilla versus Mega Godzilla, and as someone who actually cares for Godzilla, it's quite the gut punch to see the little one die. Yes, that's true. Like I kind of get why she was upset, but like I feel like it wasn't 100% earned. But yeah, I guess that makes sense. All right. Anything else that we can say about this film before we go to our final thoughts of the Heisei era?
What was your emotion? Okay, when you first saw Godzilla vs. Destroyer, because oddly enough, I was the only one to think this from who I've talked to about it. But what was your thoughts when the movie was getting ready to end and you see that silhouette of Godzilla and the movie ended? Did you think that was Godzilla being reborn? Was that some type of dream, or did you think it was Godzilla Jr.?
I thought it was Junior. I think it was implied that it was Junior. I think, right?
See, and that's always been my theory too. But everybody I talked to about like, Adrian, that's not Junior, or Adrian, you was crazy. I was like, no, that's Godzilla Jr.
Yeah, dude. I was totally Junior. Like we even see like Godzilla kind of breathe life into him like before he goes to fight Destroyer again.
Exactly.
So that's totally Junior.
Yeah, it is taking all that nuclear fission. I mean, it makes no sense for it not to be Junior if all that nuclear fission is disappeared.
Yeah, like it's not Godzilla reborn. We saw him melting. So it's not him.
That scene.
Good lord.
Okay, what were your thoughts on that seeing Godzilla melt away the first time? Because I boo-hooed cried the first time I watched it.
I was sobbing. Like the first time I watched that movie, I couldn't finish it first. At first, I ran out. Like it all started when Junior died. And I was like, no, and I ran out of the room crying. Then I came back, and then Godzilla was melting. I'm like, no.
Oh god.
Oh my god.
My parents had to check on me that night. I was legit crying. I was like, bro, Godzilla's dead.
Are you okay? Like, no, I'm not okay. Godzilla's dead.
And I think it was like 10 when I saw that too, so it was even more embarrassing. I was like, oh, you gonna nah, I cried. And even now, I still cry sometimes. I don't boo-hoo anymore, but my soul is just
Yeah,
crunches inside
it
of me.
stings. And, like you don't cry anymore, but it stings.
It does
Just
like
it's like, and then and you know it's coming too, and it's like I don't like this part.
it was a traumatic experience.
It is. That movie scarred me for life. All right, I think we're getting ready to transition into our final thoughts of the Heisei era, and I think this is an appropriate question to kick off that. Which is your favorite Super X? 1, 2, or 3? Good question.
2.
Number 2, really?
Yes, something about. Well, I guess I'm a little biased because Run the Fire Mirror is absolutely awesome, and two Super X2 music is epic. Can't forget that theme.
Yeah, it kind of does sound like the Superman theme, but I feel like that the theme didn't quite fit in with the rest of the movie, in my opinion. But I mean, it has its merits, but I feel like it didn't quite fit in as well as the rest of the music in that film. But yeah,
That's
I do
fair.
like the Fire Mirror. That's cool. Yeah, I guess that would have to be my favorite too. Now that I'm thinking about it, I was gonna maybe say Super X3 because that's the only one that didn't get destroyed at the end. But but yeah, I guess I would have to go Super X2.
Super S3 survived because of technicality. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Godzilla wasn't dying.
Yeah. Let's see what else we got here. Um, that was the little one reborn after Godzilla expelled the last remaining radiation. As he dies to give new life to the little one as new Godzilla, a Godzilla on the human side. Yes, indeed. And what's more, the film is the final film for all. It was the last film for Akira Ifukube. Yes, it was. And the last film
Mhm.
by Tomoyuki Tanaka. And the last film for Satsuma-san as Godzilla. Yes. And the last
Mhm.
film of the Heisei era. Like I said, it wraps everything in a nice little bow. It brings the franchise full circle with, Destroyer being created from the Oxygen Destroyer from the first movie, which I thought was really cool. So, yep. All right. So, final thoughts on the Heisei era. What's your final overall thoughts?
That the Heisei era gets way more hate than it should. I really think that a lot of people should go back and rewatch the Heisei era with a fresh mindset. Don't go in trying to compare it to the Showa era. Just go back and enjoy the films. And you'll probably even find something you really like in them too, honestly.
Yep, you took the words right out of my mouth. I was going to say pretty much the exact same thing. Like, yeah, the Heisei era definitely has its flaws, but what film doesn't, right? I mean, it has its merit. And I personally don't think it's as bad as people say it is. And like you said, I also encourage everyone to give it another shot with an open mind. And if for whatever reason you can't get past the flaws, that's fine. But me, I'm gonna enjoy it no matter what, because that's how I roll. That is how I roll. And Bitori and Goji says, overall, clunkily made but beloved. I think that's an accurate description. Gotta love it. All right, so before we wrap up for the night, why don't you go ahead and plug your stuff, good sir? What you got going on your side of things?
So, me and the crew of Monsters of Attitude will be joining Collector Monsters to announce the winners of the Express Figure of the Year on January 22nd, I'm assuming. Don't quote me on that just yet. Of course, come join us on Facebook so we can talk one on one on In Kaiju Collectors. Also, you can find me and my Twitch photography on Godzilla Chain 1090 on Instagram. And also, whenever I decide to post on my channel again, you can also follow me on Godzilla Train 1090 on YouTube as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on to my show. It was a great pleasure having you here.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. And to you watching at home, thank you for taking your time out of your day to hang out with me and my fantastic guest. Don't forget to check out my TeePublic store down below in the description. Also, be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Like the stream if you had a good time here tonight. And don't forget to come back here next Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time for another edition of Chill with Kaiju Kim. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Have a great night, Kaiju family.